What's going on, you guys? Welcome to the Unlock Your Freedom podcast with Kevin Kepple. If you're looking to create more in your life, and if you want more of anything, it's not about doing more, it's about being more. So I'm excited you're here, and I'll see you guys on the inside. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. So Henry David Thoreau brilliantly said, it's not what you look at that matters, it's what you see that makes all the difference. And I love this quote for so many different reasons, but recently I've been thinking a lot about emotional intelligence and the importance of understanding the stories we're telling ourselves, because we're all telling ourselves a story about what's going on in the world and our lives. And the story we have is either serving us or sabotaging us. It's either serving the people in our lives or sabotaging the people in our lives. It's either serving us on our mission to create whatever our purpose is, or it's sabotaging us. And Richard Branson, serial entrepreneur and creator of multiple billion-dollar companies, Richard Branson had a great quote. He said, EQ is more important than IQ. And EQ is shorthand for emotional intelligence. But basically what Richard's talking about is the belief that emotional intelligence, or EQ, it plays a crucial role in achieving success. And the concept of emotional intelligence, what it emphasizes is the importance of understanding and managing your emotions. And, Steve Jobs was brilliant. Steve Jobs created Apple. Steve Jobs got fired from Apple. And a large part of the reason he got fired was because he had a great deal of difficulty get along with other people. You can be the smartest person in the world potentially, but if you can't get along with other people, you're going to be a one-person show, and nobody is going to fully be able to create what they're capable of without collaborating and co-creating with other people. Steve Jobs went and worked at Pixar for years and helped build that into a billion-dollar brand, but came back to Apple, and he was a much better collaborator. And one of the quotes that he's well known for saying in the second stage of his career at Apple was that, we don't hire smart people so we can tell them what to do. We hire smart people so they can tell us what to do. And that's a collaborative, take. Like, I don't have to have all the answers. I just need to know where to find them. But, if I'm constantly believing everything I think and the feelings and emotions that come with that, that's a lack of emotional intelligence. If I'm reacting to every story that my ego tells me, and what happens is when you continually react to the false stories and the attachments of the ego, you get depleted. And then you go into survival mode. And when you're in survival mode, you start perceiving other people as a threat. And when you're perceiving other people as a threat, it's going to keep you in this very raw, edgy, reactive state. And you're going to blow up on people for seemingly inconsequential things, especially the people that are closest to you are going to suffer the most. And so practicing emotional intelligence is a form of self-care. And self-care isn't just about you, obviously, because the more I care for myself, which is a form of love, right? The more love I pour into myself, the more love I have to share with people in my life, with the world in general, the more love I have to add to the collective whole. And so when you choose not to be aware of the stories of the ego and not to be aware of your emotions and practice emotional intelligence, then you're taking away from everyone else. And so we have a moral obligation to emotionally grow, to get better at our emotional awareness and the way that we show up emotionally. And at the end of the day, we're always motivated by one of two emotions. Every single thing you've ever done came of one of these two emotions. I guarantee it. It came from either love or it came from fear. It was either a creation from love or a reaction from fear. And when it comes to fear, it's a core emotion, which is all other emotions are derivative of all the negative emotions, those forceful emotions like pride, guilt, shame, apathy, anger. I mean, think about the last time you were angry. What were you afraid of? Because there was some fear at the base of that. There's always a fear at the base of those negative emotions. And when it comes to fear, it's not about repressing it or suppressing it, because that's just giving the emotion more energy. And then this energy becomes trapped inside of me, because I can't create energy. I can't destroy energy. I can transform energy. I can blend with my ego and use all of my energy to create. But if half of it is stuck in this reaction space that's compartmentalized, then quite literally giving away my own power. And when you do this, when you repress or suppress fear and refuse to walk through it, because that's exactly what it is, it's a refusal, that resistance generates tension. And that tension becomes what the ego loves to identify with, because the ego identifies with the tension from resistance as confirmation that it's right, because the ego needs one thing to survive. It needs conflict. And when you're in the conflict of the ego, that gives away your power. That blocks your natural power. It stunts your natural energy. And resistance leads to reaction. We react from fear when we're living in this place of resistance. And it's like a beaver. When a beaver builds a dam in a river, that's a form of resistance. And that is really damaging because that's force. It's forcing the river to stop flowing naturally. And so the things downstream suffer and the things upstream suffer when the beaver builds a dam because it's not the natural way the river's meant to flow. Maybe the banks overflow because of the resistance created by the dam. Maybe the fish or whatever animals live downriver don't get the proper flow of water that they count on for survival. And so force always creates counterforce, and resistance is a form of force. So when you don't allow your energy to flow naturally, it's going to come out somewhere. And it's going to come out generally sideways when you're resisting like this. And when I say it's going to come out sideways, what I mean is it's going to come out some form of fear, whether that's anger, guilt, pride, apathy, whatever. It could be you blowing up on somebody just because they did something really small that normally you wouldn't get that upset about. They left the cap off the toothpaste and suddenly it's like a capital crime because you're so backed up. Resistance creating tension, and then you come out sideways. Obviously, we want to love the people in our lives, unconditionally. No matter how they show up, we want to love them. That's unconditional love. But when you're stuck in this place of believing everything you think and reacting emotionally to the thoughts that you have, it's a habitual form of resistance generation. And it creates these disproportionate reactions from us. And hey, nobody expects you to be perfect. Like, I'm definitely far from perfect. But you know what? The expectation is to be better, better than we were yesterday. And like that I can do, and you can too. Again, we can't eliminate fear necessarily, but we can definitely understand it. It's not a permanent environment for us to live in. It's something for us to experience, to understand ourselves on deeper levels so that we can create even more powerfully than before. That's what better looks like. When it comes to emotions, there's really two things you need to understand. Number one, emotions are simply feedback. Emotions are simply your mind's way of telling you whether whatever is happening in your life is good or bad. And the great news is you don't have to believe everything you think. You do not have to believe everything you think. But whatever thoughts you think are true, those become your beliefs. And whatever beliefs you have, those drive your future actions. And whatever actions you repeatedly take, those are your habits. And whatever you do habitually, that forms your character. And so any substantial change starts on the level of thought. And my thoughts breed emotions, but emotions also breed thoughts. Another thing you need to understand about emotions is that one of the reasons we feel negative emotions more powerfully than positive emotions is that our species evolved to survive. It didn't evolve to be happy. And it's okay. Like, it's okay to feel bad sometimes. As long as I don't identify, I can, feel fear without being fearful. And fear is just a teacher to be experienced. Again, it's not a permanent environment we need to marinate and live in. And here's the truth. You know what? It'll all work out because it has to. It'll all work out one way or the other. What belongs in your life is going to flow to you effortlessly the more you learn to let go and allow. Instead of worrying about how, just relax and be in a deserving state to receive and let things drop in. The things that are meant for you will come, and the things that aren't meant for you will go. Whatever you're being, though, is what you're going to continue to attract. And what you're being is however you feel about the thoughts you're having. And if you're constantly believing every fearful thought you have and then identifying with the following emotion, then you're being fear. You're going to attract more fearful thoughts, more fearful situations, more fearful people. Much more powerful as an approach to life, an approach to your emotional awareness and your emotional intelligence to level up your EQ is to start matching your emotions with the life you want to attract. And this is how it works. You have to learn to connect with how you want to feel in the future. Something that all of the beautiful people that I get to work with and serve as clients is they're all looking to create more, more income with less stress and doubt, and create more happiness and a deep connection to purpose along the way. And this all starts with learning to master the art of choosing love over fear. And one of the ways to master the art of choosing love over fear is to ask yourself great questions. Because questions help you create insight, and insight helps you create clarity. And so two of the best questions you can ever ask yourself, like what and why? Like, what do you want? And why do you want it? What do you want? It's so simple. What do you want in this situation? If you're going to the gym, what do you want at the gym? I want to work out. I want to be healthy. Why? Because I'm passionate about, living a healthy lifestyle, because then I feel better and I can serve more. And I love to feel great, right? Passion is what do you love? What do you want to create more of that you love? Passion is great, the what, but it's a little about me at the end of the day. So that could turn selfish if left unchecked. And that's where the purpose comes in. The why, what's the purpose this serves, this passion, me going to work out, what purpose does that serve? Well, the better I feel, the better I show up for everybody in my life. And the more I can contribute to the collective whole. And so what do you want and why? It's just 2 questions. Leave out the how. When your why is big enough, the how will emerge. Viktor Frankl taught us that in Man's Search for Meaning. If you haven't read that, read it. But, more importantly, when you ask yourself what you want and why, you get really good, crystal clear clarity on how you're going to feel when you get what you want. How am I going to feel when I create more income, when I'm reducing stress and doubt in my life, and I'm able to get more access to happiness and aliveness? What's that going to feel like? And then when I'm thinking about how I'm going to feel, I'm like, when I feel this way, what opportunities will that create that I don't have right now? What value will that bring to my life? And that's a really powerful way to start being the change you want to see. And, just continually, what do you want and why, without the judgment, without the negative stories, without the reactions from fear. And if you feel fear, that's okay. Just don't identify with it. And, once you've done this exercise, congratulations, you just aligned internally with the external future that you want to create. I want to say that again, because that's really important. When you vision cast like this, you're aligning internally with the external future you want to create. And so again, you're being what you want to attract. And this is how you start attracting opportunities to increase your income, reduce your doubt, eliminate stress, all while creating more happiness and aliveness. And in a nutshell, this is maturity, emotional maturity. Maturity is the conscious state in which you have transcended the reactive mind so that you can intelligently respond to life situations. And maturity, of the many benefits it gives you, it improves your temperament. And you can change your destiny by changing your temperament, which, your temperament is how your nature affects your behavior. And at the end of the day, it's fairly simple. If you truly want to bring your greatest work into the world, stress less, find more happiness and aliveness, it's about developing an exponential mindset and understanding that your natural gifts and strengths are the greatest way to create more for yourself, more for your family, more for God, more for the people in your lives, more for the collective whole. Alrighty, you guys, thanks for making it to the end. If you made it this far, I love you for listening. Thanks so much. And, coming up soon, we're going to have a free masterclass going through this topic a lot deeper. And you can go to kevinkepple.us/QLC and register for free. Again, that's kevinkepple.us/QLC. Q is in Queen, L is in Larry, C is in Cat. And it's a free masterclass on how to create more income, stress less, and get more access to happiness and aliveness. So hopefully you found value in this. I'm really grateful you were here. Thanks so much for listening. I love you all. I'll see y'all next time. Alrighty, you guys, thanks for making it through to the end of the Unlock Your Freedom podcast with us. Really grateful to have amazing listeners like you. Thank you guys again for listening. We love you, and we'll see you next time inside the Unlock Your Freedom podcast with Kevin Kepple.